it's a lot of representatives showing up. People are applying for the job. They're taking the time to fill out these applications to be your friend, to be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or whatever the case may be. And you know how jobs do. They hire you before the background check come back, right? So you hire. Now you done hired this person, and now they're your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or what have you, your friend, and the background check come back and they fail. Almost got myself jamming, man. What else this?
Oh, just being a mom, trying to woosah. Like I told y'all last episode, it is hard to be a content creator. You hear my baby in the background crying. So I'm really trying my best not to jump out my skin and go check on my baby. When people be like, all right, no, he's good. He's not good. So I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to get through this season, and we only in episode 2.
Yo, so today we're gonna talk about everybody wants the title, not the responsibility. Now, what y'all think that means? Let that marinate a minute, because a lot of people be out here. See, I'm already starting on one already. A lot of people out here, real deal, will say that they're your fam, your friend, your sister, your brother. And we talked about this in season 1. We thought we were done with it, right? But it's just so real, like how people can really think that people are for them, or really a sister or brother for that matter. That's serious. Do y'all not know that? Like, being a friend is hard. Being a friend is serious too. But not everybody's gonna be loyal to you. And I had to learn that the hard way. Be kind to me in front of me and behind my back, bro. Like, don't be in my presence just because you want something I got. Like, seriously. But when you find out who's for you and who's not for you, get sick. Get sick. Go in the hospital. Let something drastic happen in your life. Maybe you lose everything you got or something, and you'll find out who really for you.
Not only do you get sick, get married, have a baby, lose your job. Anything that is heavy, that requires you to have or need a helping hand, go through it. And you'll see who your friends, who your family, even who your spouse is.
Okay.
So this episode is a part 2 episode because it was so much to talk about. We had to break it up into 2. And this one is just about, in general, the church. I love talking about the church. The church, just people in general, jobs, friends, work life, whatever. But the next one, baby, that is the relationship one. And I love a good kiki about relationships. So we gonna be here for a while, a couple episodes. Okay, this one gonna be the tea is hot on this one.
Okay.
But yeah, go through them things and you'll see.
So, question: why do people want the image of success, healing, leadership, or influence without discipline it takes to maintain it?
I think people want it because social media now has presented it to look so appealing. Even when we were growing up, you got to remember, the princess marries the prince, and she is the queen and he's the king, and they live happily ever after. That is showing you what the title is, correct? But it does not show you how to maintain said title, what's included in having that title. So we will always shown the ladder and not the progress to get to that. So we were always shown that. And social media doesn't even make it any better nowadays because people only promote their highlight reels. They don't promote the process. And that's why podcasting for me is so important. Our platforms specifically, not everybody's, but our platform specifically, because we are intentional about the process. And a lot of places and people and things, they do not talk about the process. Even church now, church, even with the pastors and different things, the leaders have nice cars and all of this. The people that's in the church that are saved, they drive these nice cars and different things, and they've moved into these nice neighborhoods, but then they don't tell the ones that's coming in. They used to live in apartments where they had rats and roaches and mice and different things in the process to get them to that. Even the marital people, when they are married and they've been together 60 years, they don't talk about how they got cheated on and had the husband or the wife had a child outside the marriage, but they decided to stay. They just talk about, oh, we've been together 60 years. What does that look like? Because I'm struggling now and I'm with this nigga for a year. What does it look like? How do I get from year 1 to year 60?
Come on through. But you know what? It's funny you say that. The highlight reels. That's why you can't look like back in my day. Now I sound old now. Back in my day, we had the social media. Don't get it twisted. We had social media, but we had dial up. We had Black Planet. We had MySpace. We had all these things. We had the chat lines where you got on the phone and you talk and heard the person's voice type chat lines. Now things are so different now with meeting people in general for friendship. You know, you're not always gonna know that this relationship gonna work just by talking to somebody on the phone or chat or meeting them online, because 9 out of 10 times the chats to me are dangerous now. You don't know what you getting. Like you didn't know what you was getting back then. Don't get me wrong, because the chat lines were where I was, y'all. I didn't like meeting people in person because I was too shy. So I would go in chat line. Now I didn't make up, stuff about me. I showed them who I was, but I'd rather do it that way than walk up to somebody and say, "What's up, shorty? What's your name?" I wasn't that type. You know what I'm saying? And even now, who after being married for 11 years and together almost 20 years, I can't see myself still walking up to anybody and saying, I wouldn't know what to say, honestly. What's your name? Or I think you pretty. I wouldn't know what to say. So I can't go back to my comfort zone, was what my comfort zone was years ago before I got married, because now people meet up with you to unalive you. That's their motive from the jump. They don't have no intentions of getting to know you. They don't have no intentions of being in your life. And sometimes they just want to meet up just to have a little rendezvous and go on by their business. You don't hear from them no more. So life out here has just changed so much, because dial up, you get a phone call, you can call it quits. You internet connection is done. Now you got Wi-Fi, it's wireless and all this type of thing. It's so many things have changed. And back then you didn't put your relationship online either. I don't think I can remember people posting about their relationship in my day. I don't know. Maybe they did. But the way they do it now, to the capacity they do it now, I didn't see it like that back then. But social media rules the world now, though. Everything is focused around social media.
I think back then, the reason why I loved back then so much is everything was assumed. It was based off assumption. You like, even with the alphabet community, there was one particular channel, the logo channel, and that was strictly for the alphabet community and all their content and things like that. And even they weren't as bold to come out, right? In certain avenues or whatever the case may be, everything was assumed. You would be able to tell based on how they were dressed and different things. Oh, this person is a part of that community. It wasn't said, but it was assumed. And even in relationships, when you were on the phone and you were talking to people, you had that time to really invest and get to know a person, because you were going off of what they described to you. You were going off of, well, I've spent enough time investing in conversation with you, and I noticed that you do X, Y, and Z, yada, yada, yada. But now with social media, it's so much more easier to be manipulated, because now I get to see what you're doing before I even have a conversation with you. I'm putting all of my stuff out here on social media. I'm allowing this to be linked to this page and linked to that page and da 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 da. So now a person can create themselves and reinvent themselves to match you when they don't even match you. And that's the problem. And this is why it's a lot of pee in the pool, because people are trying to pretend to be something that they're not, and not allowing the true self to come out, and allowing those people to attach to who you really are, to your core. You're letting what you're falsifying come out in the forefront, and then you're getting mad when things don't line up, and you're going into these different situations that's not sticking.
But see what this is, it's a lot of representatives showing up. People are applying for the job. They're taking the time to fill out these applications to be your friend, to be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or whatever the case may be. And you know how jobs do. They hire you before the background check come back, right? So you hire. Now you done hired this person, and now they're your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or what have you, your friend, and the background check come back and they failed. Like, life is really lifing out here now. Like, AI is taking control of the world. You can make up a fake account now with an AI picture that looks real, like a real person. People not even look. Artists now, they got AI artists that sound so good. Inga Rose. I love Inga Rose. And Inga Rose is an AI artist.
If it ain't the 90s, I can't tell you.
It's good. I need her music. It's good for AI artists. I thought, you know how I am. I'm on the line looking. I'm like, I gotta interview her. I gotta get her in here. AI artist. I said, you got sound like a real person. I'm gonna sing you one of them songs, and it's relatable. The lyrics to every one of her songs are so relatable about life. Now, don't get it wrong. The AI artist lyrics are based on the actual person behind it, so they write their own lyrics. But the way they put it out there and how they put it out, I can listen to Inga Rose nonstop riding down the road. Did it come to Jersey? So it's just that, like, real life stuff. But it's hard to tell what's real and what's not real tonight, today. But how many people out here, sis, are being transparent? Like, I sometimes look at myself and I'm like, am I being transparent enough for the people? And then here goes sis in the back of my mind saying, girl, don't tell them all your business. You ain't supposed to tell them everything. You gotta keep something for yourself. So I be wanting to tell y'all everything sometimes, because sometimes my story can help you. It can help you get through, because not only do I deal with life in work, life in relationship, life in general, it's always something going. My life never has a dull moment. If y'all knew truly what I deal with every day, for real, shit, y'all probably catch a flight to come help me. I mean, for real. For real.
That's true.
So next question. No, that ain't the next question. Y'all messing up already. Next question. What responsibilities come with the titles we claim? Leader, mentor, healer, creator, entrepreneur, or friend? I'm gonna let you take that one. Why you looking like that?
Because this is heavy, like the responsibilities that come with this is it's hard to pave the way for something and someone when you do not have the blueprint, when you are the blueprint. And that's the responsibility. The responsibility is you have to be the blueprint. You have to do it scared. You have to um uh do it without the help. You have to be the one to get the brunts and the bruises and all the things because you're the first one. You're the generational curse breaker. You are the just you're that person, right? And in order to be a blessing to someone else, and in order to show somebody else the way, you have to be the one. Think about Harriet Tubman. Nobody did it before her, right? So she had to go through some things in order to show them where to go. She had to go through it first. And that's the responsibility. And a lot of the times, if we see something and we don't like where it's going or we don't like what's going on, we might chicken out and be like, yeah, I'm not doing this. This is too heavy. This is too much. This is bad. This is, this, that, and the third. And you have to do it anyway because there are people behind you that are waiting for you to make it. They're depending on you, and this is why God instilled these things in you. This is why you have that passion that you have, because you are the one to help others get to where they need to be.
But see, sis, back in here I go again, y'all. I'm getting old. Back in my day, for real though, y'all. I had people that were really true life mentors. People that I looked up to, people that if they saw me do something wrong, they corrected me. If I said something wrong, they corrected me. If they saw me somewhere I didn't need to be, they snatched me and took me to my mom, or they was gonna tell my mom what I had going on. We had the village back then to the point where a lot of my teachers was my church members. So not only did I go to school with them, I was also in church with them on Sunday mornings. So I was led in the educational world, and I was led to know who God was too. So it's different now. Life is different overall because who do the children look up to now? Like, let's be real. If I look at my church family now, it's fading so bad. Like all the older people are fading. And I told my mom the other day, I was like, I think I'm becoming the old people. Like it's my time now to shine. I'm supposed to be the mentor. I'm supposed to be the one to lead these children to a better place. But you can't lead people to a better place when you're not okay within yourself, if that makes sense. If you don't know yourself and you don't know who you are, you can't just put yourself out there and be like, well, this is what you should do. No, you got to tell them, hey, I've been here. I was once in your shoes before. I did XYZ, whether it was drinking, whether it was smoking, whatever you did in your life, you have to be really transparent with this generation right now. You can't go to them like how the older generation, they expect you just be seen and not heard. So when it was like that, you didn't say much back in the day because it was assumed to be disrespectful. But I told my mom one day, I was like, Mom, now you have to be on a different level when it comes to this generation. You got to kind of like feel them and be kind of in their shoes and kind of relate to them. You can't talk at them. You got to talk to them. Back then, y'all talked to us and at us and said what y'all said and meant what y'all said. And that was it. We couldn't have no feedback or anything. But this generation is more stronger. So being a leader, being a mentor, being a friend in this world now is to me more serious because back then, I had people that I call childhood friends that were I was very close, but people go through seasons, they change and become different people. So now you start moving differently. Then now people are so comfortable with the old you that when you start moving in a different direction, now y'all don't even see things the same. The world looks different for you than it used to. You think differently because now when I got 30, I saw the world different. When I got 40, I saw the world different. I'm 4 years away from 50. And it's a lot of battles I choose not to fight anymore. I want peace, man. I don't got time for all that. I'm not gonna argue with you about nothing. If you don't like me, okay. If you don't want to be in my life, okay. I'm trying to control me getting angry now, y'all, because I realize that I be on 10, like 100, mad boy. And I'm like, wait a minute. You can't let them control you like that. just be okay with what it is. It is what it is, and sometimes you can't change things. But I do think that friendship is different now. I think that mentorship is different now. I think I look at it with everything with a different lens now because of life and what life has shown me, going through Job experiences, going through life in general, losing people. Well, them losing me. I have to keep saying that because I really be feeling like I lost people. I don't really be feeling like they lost nothing when it comes to me. But them losing me, so and shifting my whole life, going through all of that, I look back at over my life, like the old folks say. I look back over my life. I don't know how I made it over. Cause all them nights of crying, all them nights of wishing that I can go sit at my Aunt Wee's house and talk to her about something and listen to her curse me out about something or talk trash or whatever the case be. Just being there. Being around my grandparents that I never really got to know, it makes you reflect when you start getting older about life. Like, life too short, sis. It's too short to be dealing with mess. Seriously.
It really is. And the older you get, the more you understand that the less you tolerate. And when we watch a Medea movie, she would say, I'd rather be in the corner with a goldfish and a puppy than to be dealing with people in a mess, you know? And it's so true.
Not a goldfish and a puppy. But but what's the hidden cost of wanting to be the face of something? Woo! Not the face. My thing is, we are the faces of our podcast, whether we realize it or not. You're the face of the Blemish Beauty. I'm the face of Breaking the Silence. So anytime you see Blemish Beauty and anytime you see Breaking the Silence, that's us. And we should take that serious. Like a lot of people, they have podcasts. They they have podcasts. I'm gonna step on somebody's feet right now, but they have podcasts and they just pop up. They do they as they said in Color Purple, do their business and get off the screen. Like sis said in the previous episode, this is something that's going to be online forevermore unless you delete it. This is something that my grandkids gonna see, my kids gonna see, anybody attached to me gonna see forever, where they can see me talking, laughing, whatever the case may be. So why not be intentional what you're putting out? Even me going to work, I'm at work and I still be thinking about Breaking the Silence, y'all, because that's my brand. Sis always said that you are the brand. I didn't believe that in the beginning, y'all. I was like, what's she talking about? You are the brand. But really, you are. How you deal with people every day and knowing that you're the host of Breaking the Silence, you're the host of Blemish Beauty, they're going to compare you to your brand because you are the brand. Well, she up here motivating people about living life and taking their 24 hours serious, and she ain't taking her 24 hours serious. She not resting. She not doing this. They're going to connect it. So you got to really be intentional about what you're doing for real, for real. Your name, your whatever your brand is, when they you hear your name called because your name follows you everywhere you go. Breaking the Silence following me. You go on the internet right now, like they say, Google me. You're gonna see Arthur Nick Nicole. It's gonna say Breaking the Silence with Arthur Nick Nicole. We're tied together. So I have to make sure that my face is aligned with my brand and my vision every day. And that can be hard. That's like a first lady, sis. A first lady. When she married a pastor and she becomes a first lady, they looking at her. All eyes is on her because they expect her to mess up. Same thing. Go ahead, sis.
Well, I was that first lady. Um, and you have to remember that you can't do what everybody else is doing. And it's using the same premise of the first lady or whatever. If you are a pastor, a first lady, a minister, a mentor, a podcaster who has a certain type of content, positivity, or whatever the case, you cannot attach yourself to everything and everyone. You have to be intentional about what you put out and who you put on your platform. And it has to align. You can't be a pastor and you are talking about the Lord on Sunday, and then Monday through Saturday, you having worldly conversations. Everything has to align with what's going on. And that was one of the hardest things when I was married to Nasir's dad, being married to a pastor and turning off some things. You can't do certain things. You can't say certain things because you are now, you have this title, and this title is heavy and it requires you to change. And I think that's the problem that people have with titles. And a lot of people don't want to get married and different things, but we'll talk about that later, because it requires something. It requires a change. It requires you to shift out of your comfort zone. And little do we know that when we give God the little, he can do a lot. Right. And it's like that little picture that they have on the internet circling around. We have this little thing and we're trying to hold on to it. And God has something bigger behind his back. And if we trust him enough to give him that little, he can return it with something greater, because he's not going to ask us for something that he won't replace with better. Right. And we have to get to the point where we understand that. And that is the responsibility, that if he trusts you to have this said title, you have to give up what you think is a lot, that's really a little bit to him, in order for him to give you something bigger. Because maybe he has you being the next Tyler Perry. Maybe he has you being the next Ian Van Zandt, or whoever it is that you look up to. But you have to sacrifice some things. You have to unalive some things that you are so used to holding on to. And we try to have one foot in and one foot out, and we cannot be a lukewarm individual. We have to figure out what we're going to do. We either going to be intentional and do it the right way, or we're going to do it the wrong way. But you can't be both, because people are looking. They might not be saying nothing, but they definitely looking. And you out here looking real crazy because you have a certain title, and they know that you have this title, and you sitting up here talking about stuff you ain't got no business talking about, or you doing things you ain't got no business doing, or you around people you ain't got no business being around. You can't be influential. Well, you shouldn't be a person that is supposed to be influential, and you doing things contrary to what your title says and what your brand is trying to promote.
We're back, and this time we're not holding anything back. So if you're not ready for laughs, the real conversation, and the straight up shenanigans with me and my sister, you might want to prepare now. But let me ask you this: what does healing look like for you right now? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, and follow us on Facebook. New episodes drop every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook and YouTube. And don't forget to follow Shira Renee and Arthur Nikki Nicole on Facebook. I'll see you next Friday. Now you said a mouthful there. I don't got no rebuttal for that one, boy. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm just gonna go to the last question, y'all.
My favorite part of the show.
That's not my favorite, y'all. Y'all know that's not my favorite part, but that's her favorite part. Okay, so where have you personally had to grow into a title instead of just claiming it? That's gonna take a little minute for me to think about, so I'm gonna let you take that one.
I want to say all of them, but more recently I had to grow into motherhood. It's one thing to claim it, but it's another thing to grow into it, because every time you have a child, it requires a different level. It requires a different version of you, right? So, having my oldest, being a first-time mom, you have all the questions, all the jitters, all the concerns, because this is so unfamiliar to you. You're dealing with postpartum the hardest, because you're grieving this person that you used to be, and now you're dealing with this new normal of who you currently are. And then having my 6-year-old, trying to do it all over again. And now balancing a 10-year-old who is at the time a little more independent, and then having this baby. So it wasn't really that bad for me, but the requirements was different because I had a little less help. This time, I'm definitely growing into motherhood differently because I'm older. I'm in my 40s. I have way more wisdom. It's kind of like riding a bike, you once you know. But at the same time, you get to be a little more settled because now that you're older, you know some of the things already. It's not like you have this anxiety. I mean, of course you still do as a mom. As you can see in the beginning of the episode, you still always have that innate ability for being a mom, like the ear and hearing and different things, but you learn how to pick and choose your battles for the most part. So for me, I want to say motherhood is what I'm learning to kind of grow into now instead of just claiming, oh, I'm a mom, I'm a mom.
I don't know. I might have to say the same thing because me and you, we both on the same path. I'm almost 50, y'all, and I got a 1 year old running around. Just imagine, look, my wife's younger than me, so I tell her like when Gabby take off running, like that's on you. I'm not chasing. I can't chase behind her. You better go. Cool.
On my side, I'm the young one, and I'm still saying that's on you.
Hey, cool. I chasing behind her. You better go get her. She going in the road. But I'm, being a mom already to two adult people say adult children. Adult children. I'm gonna say adult children. I'm gonna hang in there with that too. Adult children, and then going boom all the way down to a 1 year old now, like 25-year-old and a 30-year-old, and then a 1 year old. What am I doing? But I enjoy it. That little girl loves me. You hear me? And I love her, and I love what I'm doing. And like, just say over a time period, when I raised my son, it was different. When I raised my daughter, it was different. Now that I'm raising her, it's really different because I'm older, I'm wiser. I think about things before I actually do it. Like it's a whole different ball game. And people look at her. I've had people tell me she look well taken care of. And I'm like, what you mean by that? Our child look well taken care of. Did my other two not look well? But
That's a compliment.
yes, I took it as a compliment. I did because it came from a person that I didn't think would say that to me, after all these years. And I was like, wow. I'm gonna say y'all, this is my mom. My mom said that. And I said, I almost cried. I'm sensitive, y'all. I almost cried. But I'm different now. And being different in your life and like I said, jumping into this title of motherhood again was rough in the beginning. Because I was like, okay, yeah, we know, children have to have their basic needs and all the good things. You know the basic things that happen when you in motherhood. But then you got to think about different child, different time period. Back then it was dial up internet and all these different things. I went outside in my childhood. My kids went outside in their childhood. Okay. Now you in this era where kids want to sit and play a video game all day. Or they just want to be inside. But I don't think Gabby's gonna be that way. Gabby loves to go outside and will cry coming in, kicking and screaming. So I might get her be able to raise her that way, but motherhood it ain't for the weak, y'all. It ain't for the weak. I can tell you that. You looking like this? Sis be just looking and vibing.
When I'm telling you, if y'all are watching, when I zone out, I'm tuning in because I'm trying to listen to the back. I told you, I'm in it now. Like before, I was claiming it. I'm in it now. I'm like,
Ooh,
it's
that
it's
navigation
so
ain't
hard.
hard.
It's so hard. It's really so hard to do this, And this is, and again, me being an analytical person, I knew for me this was going to be hard, and that's why I didn't want to do it until I got to a certain age and stage in life. But due to, like I said earlier, losing my friend and different things like that, um, you do this because you want to encourage other people that it's possible. Yeah, it's hard, but it's also possible because there might be somebody here who needs an outlet. And for us, podcasting has been the greatest. outlet, and they don't want to do it because they feel like, oh, I have a small child, or whatever the case may be. Aesthetically, it doesn't look right, or whatever the case. Like, the B-roll ain't for nothing. He just had a whole meltdown. I had to, you know what I'm saying? So there's ways to do it, So I'm trying to push forward because I am the blueprint for someone else. So I'll be tuned out, but I'll be tuned in, y'all. I'm here. I'm here.
But for real though, this is an outlet, but you have to allow time to do this because you got to tell everybody in your household. If you got people in your house, you got to tell them, hey, I'm recording. Can y'all be quiet for a second? And sometimes you be in a household, you can't. That just it's not gonna work. It's not. Like luckily, Gabby sleep again. So when she did come down, yeah, we had to take breaks, y'all. We had to take breaks. When she did come down, I had to give that hug and that love and affection so she can go back and go to sleep. So
And then too, she's one when it was last year, and she was his age. You know what I mean? We
uh,
we
yeah.
barely made it. We barely made it.
Ooh, ooh.
But I mean, and this is one of the things that we said earlier. That's changing this season. We are raw. It's not as covered up as we were doing it before. Well, now we just gonna listen. Y'all gonna
Yeah.
get what y'all gonna get. Y'all gonna get these babies in here. Y'all gonna hear some crying. Y'all gonna hear, but most of all, you are definitely going to hear the intention behind everything that we do, the realness, the raw, the vulnerability, and that's what's missing nowadays. The vulnerability. It takes an extra level of faith to be vulnerable, because when you're vulnerable, especially now in the world that we live in, it's hard to be vulnerable because so many people take advantage of you when you're in a vulnerable state. But
Facts.
vulnerability will cause healing. Might not be for you in the moment in time, but it might be for somebody else who was listening to you have a transparent moment, and they're just like, wow, I needed to hear that.
I'm not the only one. I'm not alone. Like somebody actually
Mhm.
do the same thing I'm doing, going through to navigate this thing we call life. It's hard. It's hard, out here to just live and be in your own household in your own moment, paying bills, trying to survive. It's hard enough doing that. Then you got to add the kids to the mix. You got to take care of them because they can't take care of themselves. So you got to do that. That's a must. Keep the lights on, keep the water on, keep a sane mind at the same time. Because some days, y'all, I be like, I don't know how I made it through the day. I don't. Like I get up when I try to get up for the day, it's like boom, 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 boom. I'm moving from one situation to the next. Her 5 o'clock is my 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Once 1 o'clock hit, I'm up getting Gabby dressed, washed. Then if my wife come home for lunch, I gotta make sure in that little bit of time that she's here, I gotta get myself dressed for the day. Then eat some, then take meds, then rush out to go get my niece from school. Then after that is said and done, we gotta come home and do homework. Gotta feed her. They just gone just like that.
And this is all before you go to work. Sometimes for people, they do
Yes.
this after they get off work. You're doing this before work. So you're already exhausted before you even get to work.
Then gotta go in there for a 10, 12 hour shift and
On
manage
your
it
feet.
on my
Right.
feet. Like,
Mhm.
come on, man. Life is not easy, y'all. But you know what? It was given to us for a reason. And that's how we gotta understand. Our life was given to us for a reason and a purpose. And a lot of people don't realize that purpose and that reason until later on in life, or it's too late. So don't be that person that's sitting around wasting your life away, thinking about the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, when you just get up, do it anyway. So what if you tired? So what if you scared? So what if you think you can't make it through? You don't know until you just step out there on faith. But as long as you got God in anything I've learned over the years, y'all. I mean, I was born raised in church, but it didn't. It took to when I got grown to go through some things in my life, get through some things in life alone with God to realize that if He wasn't in it, nothing was gonna happen for me. So long as you got Him at the forefront of anything, my mom used to say this a lot to me, and I didn't know what she meant. when she said, as long as you got God in the forefront of everything that you do in your life, everything is going to be okay. Yes, you're going to go through some things. You got to navigate. You got to go through something. Because think about it, there's people out there in this world that really didn't go through anything. They just had everything handed to them, handed to them, handed to them. And God forbid if they went through one thing, it probably destroyed them. So be grateful for your downfalls. Be grateful for your ups, your downs, your highs, your lows, because it's teaching you how to navigate life. It's teaching you how to get through life and still have a sane mind. And while you're going through this thing we call life, ask God to concentrate your mind. Because we know when we get old, you start getting older, you start forgetting things. You start, fading, as they say. And some of us are the one to do everything. I'm that one. Gotta remember everything. Gotta do everything. Gotta carry everybody else's load and mine. So I have to ask God to please take care of my mind every single day because without it, I'll be lost. But yeah, y'all, life, it is what it is. Accept it, move forward, pray, 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 and ask God to just guide you through this thing we call life. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, know what you're signing up for. Don't take on a title you ain't. You know in your heart of hearts you're not ready for. Be intentional with what you're given and what you're getting. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be the pea that's in the pool. And that's in a relationship pool, friendship pool, whatever the case may be. You are you are either going to help a person or you're going to hurt a person. So figure out which one you're trying to do and move accordingly because they're going to learn something. It's either going to be a good lesson or a bad lesson. They're either going to learn what they don't want or they're going to learn what they do want. So make sure that you understand the job that you're applying for. We're going to use that metaphor that you used earlier. Make sure you don't just go based off of what how much is going to benefit you and the pay that's coming towards you. Make sure you understand the job description because a lot of the times we get so desperate to find a job, we don't read what the job actually entails. We just look at how much it'll cost or how much it's paying, how much we can get from it. And it might require you to work 12 hours a day. It might require you to have a certain level of education. And that's in anything in life, not just a regular job, just in anything you sign up for. It might require you to put in some extra hours. It might require you have a certain know wherewithal to be in this type of relationship because you can't just do anything. You can't just say anything. You have to be selfless and not selfish. So if you know that you don't meet those requirements, if you know there's a prerequisite, like you have to have a certain type of degree in order to get that job, don't apply for it because it's easy to take something, you know how people smoke a substance and they can pass a drug test because they'll cleanse their body real quick and then they'll go back to that's the representative. It's easy to take that and cleanse yourself and get the job. And then later on you going back to the regularly scheduled program. And why waste people time? It's a lot of money for somebody to hire a person. If
And
you've ever
train.
dealt in management and whatever the case may be, it's a lot of money that goes into training you, preparing you, giving you a uniform, all of those things that we take for granted on the outside looking in. It's a lot that goes into it to hire a person. Why let a person go through all of that just for you to end up leaving the job 2 months later?
I think that went over their head right there. But they're gonna learn. They just need to rewind back and catch that because for real, we out here applying for these positions and relationships and friendships that we know we're not qualified for. Why sign up? Why? But as always, y'all, we are healing heart and inspiring change. So we'll see y'all next week.
Later.